The Lakers rumor meter is popping off right now. There are some rumblings, not sure about the validity to them, that LeBron James could want to end his career and go back to the Cleveland Cavaliers. So I ask you this before we get started. LeBron James will end his career with the Los Angeles Lakers or a different team. Type LAL for Laker Nation, O for a different team. Get those votes in, and let's start today's juicy show. Welcome into the Lakers Report by Chat Sports. I am your host, Chase Senior. Coming your way on today's show, does LeBron James want to return to Cleveland, go back to his hometown of Akron, and end his career with the Cleveland Cavaliers, where it all got started, where he balled out in the state, where he went to St. Vincent St. Mary High School, and really turned into one of the best basketball players that we have ever seen? Now, Bill Simmons on the Bill Simmons podcast had mentioned this a couple weeks ago, and a couple days ago, he threw this out there on Twitter, and it really got people triggered. He said this and kind of predicted what we're talking about now. We're like 5 days away from the first unsubstantiated LeBron loves what he's seeing from the young Cavaliers team and might want to finish his career there story, and I honestly can't wait. And it didn't take long, only about a day, for somebody to write an article about LeBron James wanting to go back to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they mentioned Bill Simmons as being at the headway of this conversation. So Simmons, of course, had to quote tweet that article and say this: "Here come the fake news aggregators. We are building momentum." Now, for those of you watching right now who are saying, Lakers Report by Chat Sports, this host Chase Senior, he is a fake news aggregator. We are having an open-minded conversation here, and we know that the NBA rumors meter can always start to just gather momentum, gather steam, and always pop off, and we just want to have an open-minded conversation nowadays because today in America, we're not having enough of them. And we know that with superstars and mega celebrities, you can never predict what's going on inside the ears and what their next moves are going to be. And maybe there is some substance to all of this discussion. An anonymous Eastern Conference executive in the NBA saying this over the weekend, quote, "It's the worst kept secret in the NBA, the worst kept secret of LeBron's career. LeBron wants to go back to Cleveland. He's enamored with the youth, coaching and roster construction over there. He's checked out in Los Angeles right now. He's no longer willing to sacrifice his body for this team." Now, I would go against that because LeBron James over the last couple of weeks has looked like the king. And what's crazy, he's about to turn 37 years old this month, and he can still be deemed the king because he is balling out right now. But we're also having this conversation because LeBron James is only under contract with the Lakers this year as well as next year. And we know that soon around the corner, his son, Bronny James, is going to probably make a run at an NBA career, and LeBron has been on record by saying, "I do want to play with my son." Now, you take a look at LeBron's contract right now. On the books this year for $41.1 million. It goes up next year to $44.8. Then in 2023, at the age of 38 years old, and for LeBron, it's still a ripe age of 38 years old, he is going to be an unrestricted free agent. So he would be free to sign elsewhere. Now, we'll continue to break this down, but I want to ask you this. Is there a remote chance that this rumor and this speculation could be true? Scale it for me in the comment section from 1 to 10. 1 being no validity to it, 10 being, yeah, there is serious momentum behind this movement. You let me know right now. Now, we know LeBron James went to Los Angeles because he wanted to get into business opportunities in LA, especially when it comes to pop culture, his production company, and in the entertainment atmosphere. And Los Angeles, Hollywood, as we know, is the entertainment capital of the world. And he also wanted to go to Los Angeles because he knows the front office and ownership are always going to be invested in bringing a championship to La La Land. And year in, year out, the Lakers always have an opportunity to bring back yet another Larry O.B., and they're tied with the Celtics for the most NBA championships in the history of this league with 17. LeBron James, we also know this, cares about his legacy. He is on the heels of Michael Jordan. He has 4 rings. Michael Jordan has 6. Can he catch up to MJ? We're not sure. And at the end of the day, I never think that LeBron James is going to overtake Michael Jordan as the GOAT and the best player ever. But LeBron James also cares about what people say about him. So he's trying to chase Jordan's rings. And if he's able to catch him or overtake him, there will be a conversation. And maybe there's a conversation to be had now about who the true GOAT is. But this would also be his 3rd stint with the Cavaliers. And people would probably call him a traitor. People would call him a quitter. People would say, LeBron, you can never stand with an organization for all too long. Michael Jordan was with the Bulls forever before he ended his career with the Washington Wizards. But at the same time, Michael Jordan still did retire twice, and LeBron James could go back to those arguments and say, I would never. This whole storyline is also pretty fascinating and intriguing because LeBron James would be able to end his career with the hometown squad where it all started. He was able to bring the Cavaliers their first championship in franchise history. He was able to end a championship drought in the city of Cleveland that lasted far too long, and it was an incredible story. So him going back to Cleveland and ending his career and maybe bringing yet another championship to Cleveland would be a pretty miraculous story, and it would add to his legacy of winning a championship with Cleveland, with Miami, with Los Angeles, and yet again with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And the Cavs without LeBron, they're a much better team this year, and we'll break down their trade assets, we'll break down their player assets, and take a look at that roster, which is really good right now with some complementary young pieces. But ever since LeBron left Cleveland, and anytime he has not been with that organization, they're dysfunctionally run. Dan Gilbert is a joke of an owner. They've never been able to find their footing without the king. He has been the saving grace for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, I think the BS meter with this rumor is at an all-time high, and I don't think that this is realistic right now. The business opportunities in Los Angeles cannot be had in Cleveland, and LeBron is living a damn good life where there's good weather, you're playing for the most popular franchise in the sport, one of the most popular worldwide brands that we have ever seen. And while the pressure is high in Los Angeles, there is always less dysfunction there as compared to Cleveland. Now, the pressure doesn't compare from Cleveland to Los Angeles because Los Angeles, the pressure is always there with all sports organizations and the fact that celebrities live there and call Los Angeles their home. LeBron does want to play with Bronny, though. And what if the Cleveland Cavaliers have an opportunity to get LeBron's son, and LeBron can go back there to team up with the son, which would also add to the ridiculous story and storyline of his entire career when LeBron went from being doubted, when LeBron went from being overlooked, his childhood upbringing wasn't ideal. He was able to beat the odds, serve back to his community, going back to Cleveland in the hometown squad. It really would be incredible. So, Lakers as compared to Cleveland. The Lakers might not have as bright of a future as the Cleveland Cavaliers, as we're about to break down. But let me ask you this question. Who does have the better future? Is it the Lakers, type L? Is it the Cavaliers, type C? Once again, sound off and pop off in the comment section right now. Now, Christmas is only a few days away, and if you haven't done your holiday shopping, it's all good. I procrastinate too. But you can take care of that procrastination by getting this fresh Lakers Nike hoodie, the same ones that the players wear, which is on sale right now if you use our link down below, chatsports.com/LAL hoodie. This hoodie, only available right now for $70, so make sure you plug in that link thanks to our friends at Fanatics so that deal does apply. I'll put that link in the comments section as well as the description of this video. Now, going back to that conversation of, okay, who has a better future? Is it the Lakers? Is it the Cavaliers? I'd make the argument it's the Cavaliers. The Lakers right now are cap-strapped. They have a top-heavy roster, and they also have an aging roster. Now, I've been a fan of that direction for the Lakers because they have to be all in right now while LeBron James is at seemingly the end of his peak. But the Cavaliers have a really intriguing bunch to surround LeBron James if he wants to go there. And I think they'd have an opportunity to compete in an Eastern Conference that is somewhat wide open, and LeBron James would have some of the pressure taken off of him if he played for the Cavaliers instead of carrying the load with the Lakers because Anthony Davis cannot be relied upon to be that legit co-star or number one option. Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen, Isaac Okoro, all really good players who are young assets for this squad, in addition to players like Darius Garland and Evan Mobley, as we popped up just a little bit earlier. I mean, there are some really good players on this Cavaliers team, Jarrett Allen as well, who this offseason signed that 5-year contract extension worth the max, and this year he's having a career year averaging 17 points per game. I think Evan Mobley has superstar written all over him. Darius Garland is already there. Colin Sexton probably not going to be a part of this organization. That frees up some money and a roster spot for you. But the point here being, I think the Cavaliers have a better roster right now in terms of young pieces as compared to the Lakers. And moving forward, as we project forward, they might have a better all-around roster than the Los Angeles Lakers as well. And an old LeBron with a young Cavs team would allow him to kind of just extend his career to a certain degree. Right now, Anthony Davis going to be out for at least a month because of that knee injury. He continues to be brittle. And in turn, LeBron James has to continue to play like he's played in his late 20s and early 30s and put the team on his shoulders. At some point, LeBron James is not going to be the bionic man. At some point, he's going to need some more help. And the Cleveland Cavaliers could give him that help because what they've done with that roster is awfully impressive. And with mega celebrities, at the end of the day, you never know what they're thinking. You could say LeBron James has all these business tie-downs in LA. He's going to stay there forever because his businesses are rooted there. But he is also rooted in the state of Ohio and in Cleveland and in Akron because that is where he grew up. So while I don't think that LeBron is going to leave for Cleveland, this is going to be a topic of conversation that people are going to continue to discuss. And here on the Lakers Report, you can call us fake news. I can tell you this, we are ahead of the curve and we have these conversations before they ever happen because we look into the crystal ball better than anybody out there. So let me ask you this question one more time before we dip on out of here. LBJ will end his career with the Lakers or another team. Once again, get your votes in, and I can't wait to see what you all say in the comment section.